The Pickles, Finster, and DeVille families pack their suitcases. When they're all packed, Stu brings in an RV he rented and everyone gets on board. Unfortunately, Tommy's stuffed tiger falls out of his bag as Lou carries him into the RV. Tommy sadly watches as it gets left behind as the RV drives away. As night falls, the RV travels across the desert, and Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lou all look up at the night sky in awe. They reach the city of Las Vegas, Nevada, where the Pickles, Finster, and DeVille families all plan to spend their vacation. Lou tells Stu and Dee Dee that he hasn't been to Las Vegas since the 1950s, and he took the town by storm. He won 15 jackpots in a row, and then he flew him home first class just to get rid of him. Drew then tells Lou that his mom told him he lost everything but his underwear and came back home on a bus. Lou then tells Drew that her story wasn't true. Tommy's amazed when he sees so many lights, and Lil says that she feels like she's inside a Christmas tree. Phil then says to her that would just feel sticky. Chucky asks Tommy if they're going to live in Las Vegas, and Tommy tells him he isn't sure. Angelica overhears and tells the babies they're not going to live in Las Vegas, as they only came there for their vacation. As she picks up her Cynthia doll, Tommy asks Angelica what a vacation is. Angelica tells Tommy that on vacation you do whatever you want, whenever you want. Chucky then whispers to Tommy that every day must be a vacation for Angelica. Angelica tells the babies that Drew told her that Slot Vegas is the best place in the world to go for a vacation. We'll ask Angelica what Slots Vegas is, and Angelica shows the babies outside. She then tells them that she's going to be the star of Slots Vegas by singing on a real stage in front of 1 billion people. She decides to start practicing singing and sings off key as she descends the stairs. Lil asks Tommy and Chucky if they can really do whatever they want on vacation, and Tommy assures her that since it's their vacation as well, he certainly can. Phil then says he wants to ride Reptar to the moon, only for Lil to point out that Reptar can't fly. Phil then tells his sister that Reptar can fly on his vacation. Phil then takes her brother's Reptar doll from him and tells him Reptar can't, if he's being her baby. As Phil and Lil fight over the Reptar doll, Betty tells the other adults that she wants to try parachuting off the Eiffel Tower. Stu then informs everyone that he heard the lobby of the Atlantis Hotel as a replica of the Pacific Ocean. He wants to check out the surfing, only for Drew to point out that he can't surf. Stu insists that he can, though. Tommy then sees the famous magicians, Heimlich and Bob, on a television screen with 2 white tigers. Chucky asks Tommy if he wants to watch television, but Tommy tells him that he wants to pet the tigers as they're just like his stuffed tiger that got left behind. Lil thinks the tigers look cute, but Chucky isn't sure as the tigers look kind of big to him. Tommy then tells him they only look that way due to the size of the screen. Tommy decides that he and his friends should all see the tigers and it'll be fun, but Chucky isn't sure as Tommy understands the meaning of the word fun. As at the Viking Hotel, Stu bangs a gong. The manager then stops the gong and welcomes Stu and his family, then asks if he'll pay for the gong ringing with money or his children. As Stu sets Tommy down, Chucky points out a Viking shop. Tommy tells Chucky that he thinks he's going to like Slots Vegas. The next morning, as Dee Dee relaxes by the kiddie pool, Chucky asks Tommy where he thinks the tigers are. Tommy tells his friend he isn't sure where specifically, but he knows they're somewhere in Las Vegas, as there are posters of them all over the place. Phil tells Tommy the tigers might be lost, and Will suggests that the tigers' mom might have put pictures all over so everyone can see them. Tommy decides to look for the tigers in the pool and slides down the slide into the kiddie pool. Phil and Will then push Chucky down the slide, making a big splash. Phil tells Will that he told Chucky to hang on to his bathing suit. In the adult pool, Stu splashes Howard. Howard then splashes him back until Betty tells him that today they can celebrate the glory and wonder of fatherhood. Stu asks Howard what that means, and Howard tells him the moms want to watch their kids. Dee Dee tells Stu and Howard that Betty suggested a girls' day at Circus Giganticus for them in Charlotte. Betty says they have killer roller coasters, including one that goes through the lobby that pulls 6 Gs. She jokes that would have saved Charlotte a facelift. Betty tells the dads and Lou not to get too crazy while Dee Dee bids farewell to Tommy. After they leave, Stu tells Drew that now they won't have any fun if they have to look after the kids for the rest of the day. Drew says they can watch the kids in shifts and volunteer to take tomorrow's shift, while Chaz volunteers to take the next day's shift. Howard backs out as Lou, who's wearing a snorkeling mask, pops out of the pool, asking where everyone went. Stu tells him that since every other adult bailed on them, it's up to them to look after the kids. Lou suggests that they take the kids to the casino with them, but Stu points out that the kids are not allowed there. Stu decides that they should head over to the all-you-can-eat buffet to grab some lunch. Lou looks over at the babies fighting over Angelica's inflatable horse ring and at the casino, and decides to join Stu, figuring that the games are all rigged now. All rigged nowadays. Just then, a man who has just won a jackpot runs out of the casino, cheering about how rich he just became. One of his dollars lands in the adult pool, and Lou changes his mind and decides to meet up with Stu later. He takes the dollar and dives back into the pool. Stu takes Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Will, and Angelica to the all-you-can-eat buffet where they are each given their own complimentary baking hat. When the kids see the large table filled with food, they are all impressed, and Tommy decides they just become very hungry all of a sudden. It's long before the kids make a mess of the buffet, with Stu struggling to keep them out of trouble. Chucky drinks from a beverage machine without using a glass. Phil eats a pineapple without it being peeled. Tommy eats pasta salad while sitting in the bowl. And Stu warns Lil that she's supposed to eat the raisins. As Angelica eats from a dessert display, she sees there are a lot of people in the buffet. Decides that instead of just sitting around eating, this could be her big break. She picks up a chocolate-covered banana and uses it as a microphone, welcoming everyone to the Angelica Show. As Stu gets Tommy out of the bowl of pasta salad, he overhears Angelica singing off-key and orders Tommy not to move until he gets back. Tommy finishes his pasta salad and enjoys having lunch at the buffet. He then pulls out a T-bone steak, which he decides to make a good snack for the tigers. Chucky tells Tommy that the tigers might not be at the buffet, and they should probably do something else like sitting on the floor and being really quiet. Tommy agrees with Chucky about the tigers not being at the buffet. They're probably somewhere else. Stu finds Angelica at the dessert table as Tommy tries to crawl away. Chucky tells him that Stu told them they're supposed to stay at the buffet. Tommy replies that they may be true, they're on vacation. Phil and Lil point out that on vacation, they can do what they want when they want. Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil all walk up to a window and see the tigers on a screen. Lil points out that the tigers are in something. Lil tells him the tigers are probably in a playpen, and Tommy thinks that the tigers are in a prison. Phil asks Tommy if he means the tigers are prisoners, and Lil begs for Tommy to help them set them free. Chucky objects and tells his friends people end up in prison because they've done bad things. Tommy tells Chucky that the tigers are kittens, and kittens can't do bad things. Lil agrees as kittens are tiny, as does Phil, who says they are fluffy. Upon seeing the tigers again, Chucky sees that they do kind of look sad, and Tommy tells him that Lil is right and that they have to set the tigers free, as the tigers came all the way to Las Vegas and they deserve a vacation as much as they do. As Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil all leave, Stu tells Angelica that she's going to be in a lot of trouble when Drew and Charlotte get back, only to find out that Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil have all gone missing. Tommy, Chucky, and the twins all crawl through a crowd of people, with Chucky asking Tommy which way they should go. Tommy tells Chucky he isn't sure, but there has to be a way to get the tigers. Just then, the Viking ship stops to drop off more people headed for the buffet. Tommy decides the Viking ship will help them get to the tigers and tells Chucky, Phil, and Lil to follow him. Chucky then asks why the Vikings couldn't just ride the tricycles and Tommy gets on the ship. He grabs a rope, swings on it, and lands on a drum, causing the Vikings to row. Phil will land on the drum, causing the Vikings to row again. This gives Tommy the idea for Phil and Will to jump on the drum again. The twins continue jumping on the drum faster and faster, causing the Vikings to row faster. Tommy tells Phil and Will that this is the best adventure they've ever had and asks Chucky if he agrees. Then looks up and sees Chucky swing on a rope, holding for his life. When Stu leaves the buffet, he finds that Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil are on board the Viking ship. He tells Angelica to come up with him, but Angelica tells him she has to go back for her encore. Stu picks up his niece and tells her to come with him anyway. Chucky then swings into the mast and lands on Tommy. He tells Tommy that what he did isn't the best thing to do right after lunch. Stu runs out to the Viking ship and decides that he and Angelica will never catch it on foot, then sees a canoe and decides to ride it. Angelica objects due to the small size of the canoe. Stu tells her to pretend it's a game, and they get into the canoe. Stu's weight causes his side of the canoe to sink. Angelica tells Stu that he needs to learn some new games. The Viking ship reaches a screen with the tigers on it, but Chucky tells Tommy that they just passed the screen. Tommy tells Phil and Lil to stop jumping on the drum as it's time for them to get off the Viking ship. A tired Phil and Lil told Tommy it's okay with them, and the tired Vikings couldn't agree more.